are you all doing today? Alright, so this is a little weird, so work with me. I am trying a new setup where I have my camera long ways, and so the camera is over there now, so I have to work on that. But hello, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Yasha, and I've been doing videos here on YouTube for a couple of months in another series that I do called Soulful Yapping, where I do a video every night kind of about my daily life. I'm really vulnerable and authentic about stuff on there, and I've really been enjoying it. But recently I felt like there are a bunch of people who are following me specifically for like spiritual content, so I wanted to create a playlist here on YouTube where the spiritual content has its own place. So if anybody is looking specifically for that, that's where they can go. So that is where this what do you call it? Like this video is gonna go. So it is entitled Spiritual Bitties because these are bits of information, you know. And also, I like the word bitty. And those of you that know what the word bitty means, you know what you know, and we know what we know. So I figured in this, oh, by the way, my name is Yasha. So, let's get into it. I figured for this first video, ooh, 1 minute and 23 seconds as I'm seeing this. 23 is one of my lucky numbers. So just whenever I'm like, oh, it's a 23, or oh, it's a 10, it's because those are my lucky numbers. Okay, like I said, this is the first video, so I don't really know exactly how the fuck I'm supposed to be doing this. But I figured I would start off by describing what I'm actually led to do. So in other videos that I've done, I've specifically said I would never do tarot card readings because everybody does them, and I don't want to do them. And I was not on that time. I was not on that time. However, a big part of the reason I wasn't on that time is because I have another deck that I use. I have an oracle deck that I use to do my own personal pulls every morning, like a 1-card pull in the mornings. And that deck is not a deck that I am to share like with the public, because that's for me, that's private. However, for my birthday, if you already are following me, then you have seen this deck that my one of my best friends got me. It's called the Green Witch's Oracle deck, and it's so pretty, and the artwork is really pretty. So I decided that I would do tarot card readings on here for the collective. So I'm going to start doing those, and I think this is going to be really fun. I'm really at the point in my life where everything that I do is all about the fun. It's all about the side quests in life. You know, if your main quest, your main journey is kind of your chosen purpose, then the side quests are the stuff that you do on the side. I do a little singing on the side. So yeah, so that's what we're doing. This is a tester setup, I guess, for this first video. I am currently in like my house clothes. And then I have this beautiful jasmine incense going because my room needed to smell a little better. I mean, if the smoke ends up bothering you all, you can tell me and I can try to find another place for that. But anyways, I figured I would start this particular playlist by describing how I actually do oracle card pulls or tarot card pulls, because I realize some people don't, like, they have heard of the practice and they've seen the practice, but like everybody does it differently. So I figured I would kind of explain what I do. So I usually will get my deck, right? We have our beautiful oracle deck that I love, and I will shuffle. Now the purpose of this is these videos, they're for entertainment purposes, so never take anything that I say and full send something that is really important to you. I will never recommend that you take what I say and you just run with it. Always check with like people in your circle that you trust. If you have an idea or something in these videos resonates with you, then think on it, sit on it. I mean, if it's something that you've been thinking about for a while and then this happens to be a confirmation, then yeah, obviously you should probably do it. I kind of feel like the music is a little loud, so give me a second. This whole thing is a practice in patience and figuring things out. Okay, we're back. Here we go. Hopefully you can still kind of sort of hear it, but I felt like I was yelling at the camera because it's like across the way. Okay, so how the okay. Give me a second. So, the reason why I do these, why I started doing tarot card readings for myself, is because I was in a spiritual shop at one point. Like, I'm very into crystals and stuff. So, as a kid, I collected rocks and I would paint them with fingernail polish, and then I would have like a little chest of all of these really pretty rocks. And it was the shit. It was my stuff. I loved it. And that passion and love has followed me into adulthood. So, as an adult, I thoroughly love going and buying crystals and stuff. Yes, there are spiritual connections. Yes, there's like, you know, reasons, and each crystal has what it does and stuff like that. But for the most part, I just like them because they shiny and they sparkle. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. So that's why I typically am wearing like bracelets or necklaces or earrings that have like jewels and stuff in them, because they're super pretty. They're really shiny, and if it sparkles, I like it. I'm trying to get down. If it's shiny, I was trying to find a word to rhyme with shiny, but grimy, limey, hiney. My first thought is, if it's shiny, it excites my hiney, and that's not. I mean, it does. Is that such a bad thing? Is that such a bad thing? I don't know. Anyways, so I started doing tarot card reading because I went into a spiritual shop when I was in Boston. And while I was living in Boston, Massachusetts, that's when I started really exploring my spirituality and started looking into, you know, various ways to connect with my spiritual self. And so I went into a crystal shop that I frequented, and I saw that they had some tarot cards on sale, and I was like, what's this? And the guy behind the counter was like, oh, they're tarot cards, you know, some people say that you could like tell the future with them. They tell you a lot about yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. So I looked at the back of the pack and I was like, oh, so each suite of cards represents parts of your life. So the swords represents intellect. Excuse me. The cups represents emotions and relationships. The pentacles represents physical things and finances and stuff like that. And then, what is it? And then wands represents, I always forget what wands represents. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I don't have it like off the top of my head. So, I thought it was really cool, and I thought that there was also, be patient with me because I'm getting used to my camera not being up here. It's now right here for me. So I know if I'm looking at the camera right now, it looks like I'm looking dead on, but I'm actually looking to my right. So this is weird. So I decided that I was going to get a pack and see what happened. So I got a pack and I familiarized myself with it. I cleansed the deck, you know, I set, you know, the box in the sun for a couple of hours, what I felt was right. It's weird because I've never actually followed the instructions on how to do spiritual stuff. I don't follow the instructions typically. Typically I do what I feel, and then sometimes afterwards when I look at the instructions of how you do things spiritually, I was already doing it that way. So if you're a person who wants to dabble in anything spiritual, like anything, tarot card reading, oracle cards, if you're thinking about doing aromancy, which is cloud reading, or, you know, anything of that nature, I will always say check with your spirit. Do not check with the part of you that's like, oh, this is interesting and I feel like I can make my whole life about it. No, I'm saying check with your spirit to see if it feels genuine to you. So I had the oracle cards, I cleansed them, did all that stuff, and then my partner, you know, my husband at the time, I was like, I want to do a reading for you kind of as a tester to see what's up and to see if this, you know, if this shit is real or whatever. And he was like, okay. So I shuffled the cards, I did my thing, I kind of meditated on it, and when I pulled the cards, I did a 3-card pull, and I just pulled cards randomly, 3 cards. And I was like, interesting. And so I looked at it and I read the little instructional booklet, and I was like, ooh, like I'm noticing this color in this card, or I'm noticing this that's sticking out to me. And like, does any of that have to do with you? And he was like, nope, like that doesn't sound like me at all. And I was like, I don't feel like this reading is for you. And he was like, who do you think it's for? And so I sat there for a second and I kind of touched on the cards, and I was like, I think it's your brother. When's the last time you talked to your brother? And he was like, it's been a minute. And I was like, I think you should call him. And he was like, okay. So he called him, And after he got off the phone, he spent like an hour on the phone. And after he got off, he came to me and he was super quiet and he was like, okay, so it was my brother. Now, we had not talked to his brother in a minute. He and his brother were not like super duper close, but they were constantly on the phone. So it was odd that the timing was so perfect. And after that, he was, you know, like a little uncomfortable. So we didn't do tarot card readings anymore. But after that, I've been doing them ever since because I feel like I get insight into myself, insight into the world around me, and occasionally insight for other people. So I don't do the future. Whenever I do these, that is not what I do. So if anybody ever is watching a video and they're like, ooh, can you tell my future? I cannot do that. I cannot do that. I'm sure that there is a portion of spirituality where I probably could like tap into that energy, but that's just not what I do. I personally believe that the future should be left alone. I enjoy like when my spirit and my spiritual team gives me insight into things and they're like, hey, so this thing is gonna happen at some point, you need to buckle up and get ready. Love those. But as far as being able to tell the exact future, I prefer to stay out of that. I don't know. I think when we spend so much time trying to figure out what our future is about, and we spend all the time there, like you've maybe heard the archetype of person who constantly calls their local sidekick and they're constantly asking about their future and they're constantly saying, well, what can I do to ensure that this happens? And what can I do to ensure that this happens? You end up spending the majority of your life in a location you're not living in, which is the future, constantly. So for me, I'm not about that. I want to be in the now. I want to focus on the now. So I do this, you know, I do this whole process for insight into my spirit, into things that I could potentially be doing right now. What can I be working on? How can I better myself? How can I connect deeper with the divine and spirit in particular? Like, that's usually what I do. So when I do, that entirely super long explanation was, hey, 12 minutes and 12 seconds on my timer. As I said that incredibly long explanation was in order to give prep to this playlist, this portion, this series of my channel, and then also so that you all know what to expect as we move forward with these collective or community readings. So what I do, like I was starting to say earlier before I went through that whole backstory, what I like to do is I will get a notebook. So I have that with me, a notebook and pen, and then I will get my deck, my oracle deck or my tarot card deck, and I will shuffle the cards, and I will shuffle them until I feel like they are properly shuffled. So this is kind of the normal shuffle that one does. My little piece of my bra is trying to peek out. So we do our regular shuffle, and actually this is my favorite one, the one where you cut it in half, and I would do it on the tray in front of me. I have two trays in front of me right now, and I have like a stack of books and my camera is sitting up on them. If I could do this in the closet, I would, so that my videos would be long way. So then you set them in between each other like this, and you hit this. Oh, I love how that sounds. It's one of my favorite ways to shuffle cards. I know there are other ways that people can do. Have you ever seen people do card tricks? Like, I love that stuff. I love like the dexterity, and especially like if somebody has like nice hands when they do it. I don't know. I love that. So let's do it again. Actually, I'm feeling I need to do it 2 more times. So, all right. Oh, it's so good. So I will shuffle until I feel like I have shuffled enough. So sometimes I'm just sitting there for 5 minutes doing it. I like to take my time when it comes to my spiritual practices. I make room for meditation every day. I'll get up an hour earlier than I need to get up so that I can make sure that I have the time to meditate and connect with self. All right, so I think we're good. So what I will do after I shuffle, I will then feel out and pay attention to images that kind of pop into my head as far as how many cards I need to pull. My go-to is 3 cards. I usually do a 3-card pull because 3 is one of my lucky numbers. So I enjoy doing 3-card pulls, but today, is it 3? I think it's 3. I think it's 3 today. Okay, so it's 3, and I'm to pull 1 from the bottom. I am to pull 1 from dead center, like this, and then I'm to pull 1 from the top. Okay, interesting. Oh, okay, and apparently this is a past, present, and future? Yo, we just said we weren't doing the future. So essentially what I am doing is right now I am listening and paying attention to images. I kind of lean to clair audience of when I hear things from spirit. I do have like clair sight, like clairvoyance, where I'll see images. So those are primarily the 2 that I use. So it's past, present, and future. Okay, so there's some people in the collective. This is the first reading, and I don't know if I will do past, present, and future again after this, but this is to kind of set the 60 minutes and 6 seconds as I say that. This is to kind of set the stage for this series. So if you're seeing this video and this resonates with you at all, this particular series is for you. Maybe none of the other stuff that I do is for you, but this particular reading is for you. So I have my 3 cards, as you can see, and I have my notebook. So what I do is I will flip the cards. Sometimes I flip them 1 at a time, and I will meditate on each card, and I will write down like meanings or like notes or things that I hear or things that I see, right? Sometimes I will flip over all the cards, and instead of reading, the first thing I'll do is notice I'm looking over here, but I need to be looking over here because this is where the camera is. Hello. So what I'll do is I'll flip all the cards over, and I will look for themes, the overarching theme of all 3. So like the overarching theme of life for past, present, and future is kind of what I typically look for. So I'm feeling that I am to flip all of these over at once. Okay. So our first card. Okay, our first card is Carnelian, which is energy. What is that? Energy, leadership, and creativity. Isn't that pretty? All right, so I'll actually sit that on the tray right here so that I can see it. Our second card, so that's past. So somebody watching this video, you have a past of leadership and creativity. So maybe you were a manager at some point, maybe you led some type of group. You could be a father, a person who leads a family. You could be a brother who's kind of had to step in. I'm getting masculine energy from this card. And when I say that, it doesn't have to be a man, but I am getting the masculine kind of protector, provider energy from this vibe. And again, I don't really know how else to explain it, but there's something about this particular pull today that just screams masculinity. Maybe it's because like the cracks in the crystal look like veins on hands, and typically veiny hands, when I see veiny hands, I'm very like, ooh, that's a man right there. I could be wrong, okay? I could be wrong. So that's past, okay? Carnelian. Our present is mint. Ooh, this is the first time I've pulled this, and it represents abundance, persistence, and proliferation. I don't know what that word means. I might have to pull out my laptop when I do these videos so that I can look up definitions of words. I think I'm gonna do that. Hold, please. I think one of the things I like about doing videos like this is that I am not bound. I am not in any way bound to do or not do anything. Like, I could kind of do whatever I want, and I love it. And I'm the type of person, did I type my password in wrong? All caps was on. I'm the type of person who likes to do, like, setup in my videos. Like, I like when people see the setup of stuff. I think to me, it's more genuine that way, because not everything's gonna be perfect. Not everything's gonna be edited. I wish y'all could smell this incense. It smells amazing. Okay, definition of proliferation. How is it spelled? Prolife. Proliferation. Okay, so the definition of proliferation is rapid increase in numbers, rapid reproduction of a cell, part, or organism. So it's growth. So there's growth happening. There's addition happening. There is is a large number of something. Is that the right word? Yes, I spelled it right. So that is the second card, and it is present. And again, I'm feeling masculine energy from this. I love how I'm calling this spiritual biddies, but this video is not a biddy. We are already at 20 minutes, and I think that's hilarious, as an aside. And this last card is the pine tree. I love this card. I'm about to explain to y'all why I love this card, but I'm going to show it to you first. It's a pine tree, and it represents vitality, longevity, and perseverance. So there we go. You see? So the reason I adore this card is because there is a murder mystery series that I read. It's called the Inspector Armand Gamache series, and it's done by an author named Louise Penny. And the fictional town that all the characters live in, that's just beautiful and amazing, and it's cute and it's quaint, and it's like this little cottage, not cottage, but it's like this little village in the mountains. It's called Three Pines, and there are 3 pine trees in this card. So this is another reason why I love this deck, because the art style, I feel like if there was an art style in this murder mystery like series that I read, if there was an art style for it, it's this 100%. So now that I have pulled these cards, so we have past, we have present, and we have future. So let's get into it. So typically after I pull the cards, I'm looking and I'm actually seeing green. Like there's a lot of green. So here, these leaves at the top are green. Obviously the mint is green. And then the pine trees are also green. I'm also getting hints of yellow. I know it's brown here, but I kind of see, and I am colorblind. I'm a little colorblind. So I confuse blues and purples a lot. Pinks and reds, I will confuse pinks and reds even though they're in the same color family. And then like different hues of yellow, I will confuse. So I hate shopping for myself for clothes. So I'm seeing green and yellow primarily. Green and yellow, and then tan. So green is actually associated with the heart chakra. It is associated with emotions and relationships. So what was that? 22 minutes and 23 seconds as I say that. So I will write down in my journal notes. And so our first note is green. And then I'll write down heart chakra, comma, emotions, relationships, and then a word that popped out in my mind was healing. So that's what I'm feeling from that. So this, I will put over this first note. This is the theme. This is the general theme. Now this is interesting because I've actually never done it this way. This is the first time I've done it this way. So that's the general theme that I'm getting. So the first card, past. So energy, leadership, creativity. Out of all 3 of those words, leadership crops out. Leadership. So somebody in this community, or a couple of people in this community, whoever is watching this video right now, you historically were in a position of leadership. And what I'm feeling is I just saw in my mind kind of a wispy, not really focused, I can't specifically see perfect images, but in my mind I'm just getting leadership that you did not choose, or leadership that you did not want. Ooh. Okay. So there was unwanted leadership here. You stepped in not because you wanted to, but because you had to. Ooh, unwanted leadership. Let me rewrite the word. Y'all, my handwriting is garbage. Garbage. I have to cross out words that I end up like misspelling, or I'll write it too fast and I can't read it. So I have to rewrite it all the time. Okay, so unwanted leadership was in your past. So whoever this reading is for, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But I'm getting that somebody in the past had an unwanted position of leadership, whether that be familial, whether that be in their professional life, whether that be in their relationship. Masculine energy. So this also could be a person who in their relationship had to step very harshly into their masculine energy. Maybe you're doing this now, or you were doing this in the past, where a person who you were with forced you into a position of leadership that you did not want. maybe you wanted to be taken care of, or you would prefer to have been taken care of, or it's something that you've wanted for a long time, but you've always been in a position where you've had to lead and you want to be able to sit back and relax, but you've just never had the opportunity. So that is the past. That was what your past looked like. That's so interesting. And I always make sure that I look to see if there's anything else. I said the green. I also said yellow. I'm seeing yellow, and yellow has to do with the solar plexus, and that has to do with willpower, self-esteem, and it's the primary sidekick energy center. So that's why sometimes you'll get a bad feeling in your stomach or a good feeling in your stomach. It's the solar plexus. That's where that's from. So I see yellow here in the flames. There's also a yellow leaf up at the top here. Here in the dead center of the mint, there's yellow. And then, like I said, because I happen to be blessed with it, semi-specific colorblindness, there is yellow that I can see. Wait, no, there is yellow in this card. So I was seeing yellow here in the pines, but also if you look very, very closely, there are stars, and the stars on the card are yellow. Ha ha ha. Interesting. So maybe the yellow is super small in your future, and maybe the yellow is super small because in your future, as things are happening, and as you have this longevity and perseverance, you're having to focus less on balancing that area, excuse me. Okay, so now, green, so let me write in yellow as well, under general reading, solar plexus. And I'm sorry to those of you who don't like hearing songs played on repeat in the background. I do. It's my neurospiciness. I am touched mentally, and so I will listen to the same song over and over and over 100 billion times. Solar plexus, which represents willpower, self-esteem. Pride and self. Pride and self. Okay. I heard that. I heard pride and self. So that was your past. And now let's look at your present of where you are. This might actually just be to let people know if this, if we're connected. I don't know. So present is abundance, persistence, and proliferation. Abundance. I'm getting growth. That's what I'm getting from this card. Freshness, newness, because you know how mint is very fresh. So I'm getting growth, newness, freshness, mint freshness. And for this one, I'm actually being moved to read from the book. So let's see what the card has. Give me a hot second to find it. I think that's the one thing this is the one thing I do not care for, is that the cards are not numbered. So because they're not numbered, I keep looking over here. Because the cards aren't numbered. You should hear this too. The cards aren't numbered, so it's harder for me to find them, and it's gonna be difficult until I'm just in the habit of flipping back and forth through the book. So we have our nice little book, we have our artwork, we have our description, and then we have a question. This is one of the reasons I adore this deck, because the questions that are asked are they're engaging. So for a lot of other Oracle decks that I've had, the books will tell you things, and then you're like, okay, cool, you told me. And it's like you just kind of go off and you do your own thing. But with this, it leans towards pondering. So you want to ponder what it is that is being told to you. And I love that. I love that. Okay. Mint, card meaning. The mint card speaks of deep roots, firm grounding, and a refusal to give in. The tenacity of the mint herb can be the despair of many a gardener, but its abundance can also be an encouraging omen. Life's obstacles can be frustrating, but mint reminds you that stubbornness can get you through. Somebody may be an earth sign or an air sign, because earth signs and air signs are stubborn AF. Consider your current situation. Someone may be trying to uproot you or remove you from something you're passionate about. Don't let them. Make your own decisions and don't let someone else steal your agency. Dig in and be strong. Stubbornness isn't necessarily a negative trait. And the reflection question is, are there unfair limitations being imposed on you by someone or something? Interesting. That is very true. When I was thinking about growing plants, because I eventually want to have my own little garden with my herbs and stuff in it, I was actually contemplating starting with mint, because mint is incredibly easy to grow, and it grows very quickly, and it spreads. You have to be careful when you plant mint in places, because it actually will choke out other plants. Like, it'll be like, the fuck did you say? So if that's the case, okay, give me a second to lock it in. Growth, abundance. So I'm feeling that we are finally... Oh. So somebody watching this has started to get selfish. You've started to be self-focused. You're currently in the space in your life where you're done with the people pleasing. You're done with constantly doing things for others, and you're wanting to not constantly be in a position where you have to lead. So you chose, prior to this video, apparently whoever's watching this, prior to this video, you chose to let that go. And so you've decided to focus on self. And that's why the yellow is so prominent in this card, because now you're in the place in your life where your willpower, your self-esteem, you're focusing on your strength, on your persistence, and you don't want to give it up. Oh, I like this. I like this a lot. What is this fish charm for? It's a cute little fish, and then there's a rune here as well. What does the fish mean? I don't know what the fish means. I know in some cultures, fish means new life. Oh. So I just remembered the story from the Bible where Jesus grew some loaves of bread and some fish and was able to feed hundreds of thousands of people with just some bread and some fish. So you're multiplying your energy. You're building your energy up from this point, because you are no longer in this place. You're now here where you're being far more focused on your own growth, and you're being very aggressive about it. And you're being very stubborn. That's why I feel like this may be related to an earth sign, and I'm very proud of you for this. Be stubborn. Be stubborn about what's happening. Are there unfair limitations being imposed on you by someone or something? Some of you have some people in your life who are trying to put you back in a box because of the fact that this is where you are, and it's made them uncomfortable. I have a feeling this has been going on for a while for you, so this is actually not new information for you. Again, I feel like this reading is just to tell those of you who this is your path that this series is for you. I really do have a feeling that this is what this is for. So your abundance is going to come from your persistence. And there's going to be a rapid increase in various numbers in your life. So it could be numbers of years on your life, which is very interesting, which actually makes sense, because the more we stress and the more we try to constantly be in positions where other people are leaning on us too heavily, we're doing the whole martyr thing, stress actually takes years off of your life. Science has proven this. So for you to be in a place where you're seeking peace, you're seeking your own oh, the smoke is doing like a really cool thing. It's like doing a little swoopy. That's so cool. So because you're getting serious, and you've been getting serious in your present moment about yourself, people are not liking that. And they're trying to put you back. They're like, we see that you're growing. We see that you're getting bigger. Your numbers are increasing. For some of you, the numbers increasing is weight. Some of you have had problems eating. And now in the present moment, you're finally eating the way you should be eating. That's interesting. I've never felt that in a reading. That the numbers that are increasing are actually your pounds. You're actually getting to a good weight. Oh, I like that. That's beautiful. So that's your present moment. And then, for the future, which, again, we do not predict the future here, but I have a feeling this is kind of like a heads up. I feel like that's what that is. Future. We have our pine tree, vitality, longevity, and perseverance. And then, of course, we have the 3 pines there. So from the pine cone, which has the seeds, there's going to be... So you're currently in a very aggressive growth process. And I have a feeling that that is actually going to start slowing down at some point. You're going to have to focus less on your growth and less on being obsessive about where you're going and being persistent. Interesting. So we have persistence, but we also have longevity. So doing things for a prolonged amount of time. So the path that you're currently on, the spiritual path, for those of you who just got here or who just got serious about it, you are supposed to keep doing this. This is for you. This path is going to bring you so much more peace, so many more blessings, so much more abundance than you have had in the past, because this is about you. This is not about everybody else. You already did that. You already lived a life where everything was about everybody else. Now, you are aggressively doing what you need to do for you, and your growth is going to continue to happen as long as you dedicate to the path that you're on right now, as far as your spirituality. If you started this video and made the decision as just starting this video that you are going to commit, that counts. You didn't have to do this eons upon eons before seeing this video. Oh, this is so crazy. This is so interesting. And I actually will read this one again because I really like this one, y'all. 3 pines. Shell pile. Okay, the pine tree is a symbol of life enduring, the promise that even if things seem dark, it's not over. Some kinds of pine trees have root systems that are centuries old. This is the second thing that is talked about roots. And this is red. So another theme that we have here. So we have the heart chakra, which is emotions and relationships. Then we also have the yellow, the solar plexus, which has to do with self-esteem and willpower. And then we also have roots, which has to do with the base chakra, which deals with having like protection and having all of your base needs for survival met. Which is interesting. So I find it interesting also that this is a stagnant thing. The crystal itself is stagnant and hard. Crystals do not grow. Whereas these 2 cards, this one and this one, have to do with root systems where life is much more organic and it takes its time with growing. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you guys are here with me in this video. This video is like almost 40 minutes long. Ooh, I'm liking this. So growth is going to be a consistent part of your life from this point. So whoever's watching this, you seem very dedicated. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you because I am very growth focused. I am a growth focused person. If I am not in a position where every day I'm learning something about myself, then I feel like I'm not paying attention, essentially. So root systems that are centuries old, and while a single tree may die, the established root system can introduce a new seedling to replace it. Did not know that. The rejuvenation cycle tells us that even when something appears to be dead or finished, there are still roots alive. Nothing is ever truly gone. Don't give up on it. Alright, so before we move forward, there is a dream or an interest that you had a long time ago. During this time where you were leading, there's something you gave up during this time. It's time for you to go back and to bring that back. Bring this back up. I don't know what that was. I think it has to do with your inner child. A passion. Something fun, something. There's something you gave up during that time of leadership. It's time for you to bring it back during this time. Be confident in it, be confident, and have self-esteem and will that thing back so that you can focus more on it. And it's going to help as far as your growth is concerned. It is necessary for your continual growth. You can't ignore it. You can't ignore the thing that you set down. Pine is a popular building material. It absorbs shock, is resistant to excessive swelling and shrinking, and although it dents easily, it's long-lasting. The pine tree card tells you to hang in there. Life may be knocking you around a bit, but even dented, you're reliable and can last longer than you think. The reflection question is, have you given up on something you shouldn't have? I love spirit. I really do, because somebody did. Somebody gave up on something, some idea. and now it's time for you to bring it back. It's time for you to bring it back during this time, because this is where you're headed. Vitality, longevity, and perseverance. You're going to outlast these times of kind of volatile energy, because that's the other thing. Mint is aggressive. It is an aggressive plant, so maybe it's not just you that's aggressive, it's kind of the vibe that you're living in right now. There's a lot of aggression happening, whether it be from your partners, whether it be from your siblings, whether it be from a spouse, whether it be from maybe people at work or school. You've got a lot of like jostling happening is what I'm feeling. And so that period of time is going to come to an end. The hard life, I've lived a hard life. You're not going to be living that hard life for much longer, because this card really is giving a gentle, kind of peaceful movement. Oh, I love this. So, in my notebook, if I could find my pen, the future is vitality, longevity, I can't spell, perseverance. Now, there's a lot that I've said that I haven't written down, and it's because I'm like recording at the same time that I'm doing this. But, and then I just saw 4:11 on my timer. So 41 minutes and 11 seconds. So I saw 4111. 4 represents foundations. So this was the beginning. This was the foundation. And then 1, so was it 40? It was 41. 1. And then 3 ones represent new beginnings. They represent the start of something. And they actually also represent leadership. This version of leadership did not work for you. Whereas these versions of leadership, these versions of leadership are different, because you're going to show people how to do this thing, how to do the whole life thing. I like that. I love that so much. Oh my god, I love you guys. Whoever this is, you are amazing and you are incredible. And your overarching theme here is you've literally had kind of like a heart, soul, you literally have the whole thing here. I love that. That's amazing. So, whoever that is, welcome. I look forward to having you as I continue to do this series. I do other stuff as well. If you're interested, you can explore at your leisure. You don't have to. Again, you never have to comment, like, or subscribe on any of the stuff that I do or any of my channels. If you just want to pop in every now and again and lurk, feel free to do that. I love people that lurk. I love my lurkers, as I've said before. So typically, if I was doing this myself, I would write more down. If you do these types of readings for yourself, or even if you are watching my videos now as I'm going to do these, take notes of things that stick out to you. If images pop into your mind, or songs pop into your mind, or ideas or situations pop into your mind when I start talking about things, or if I say things that you've heard and it's been repeated, write it down, because it may be something that is significant for you later. So that is our reading today. That's what we have. So I always thank Spirit. Thank you for this reading. And I always place the cards back in the deck. Usually I'll do one of these. I put them to my heart and I say thank you. Thank you. And then I will put each card. Thank you. I'll put each card back in the deck so that they can absorb the deck's energy. Thank you for this. Thank you, Spirit. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you hanging out with us today. This is fun. I really enjoyed this. I have no idea if these videos are going to continue to be this long or if they'll be shorter depending on the situation. I honestly think my shorter form content is probably going to go on TikTok. But again, I have no idea how that's going to happen. The reason I keep saying I have no idea is because the last time I tried to do social media stuff, which was years and years and years ago, I had a plan for everything. And now I don't. I have 0 plans. So like today, I might stream some video games later. And ordinarily, I would like to know that ahead of time so people can know what's happening and what's up. So I don't know. 44 minutes and 23 seconds as we're doing that. Maybe I'm not supposed to know. But I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And for those of you, the next video that you see is the one that I maybe do tonight. I look forward to seeing you there where I yap about my day. And then if any of you happen to catch me on Twitch playing a video game today, glad to have you there. I actually think I might do a live maybe, because I want to play Doors. I want to play Roblox Doors. But anyways, that has nothing to do with this series. So this is the first video of this series. I love you guys so much. I look forward to continuing this series with you. And yeah, that's all I have, baby. So I will talk to you all later. Love you guys. Mwah. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night.